Maria, during the spring, the Resilience and Development Program has been involved in a number of dialogue seminars. What are these dialogue seminars about?
The reason why we started with these dialogue seminars were that we had been for a long time involved with international environmental negotiations as part of the Swedish delegation for the Swedish government on behalf of SIDA, the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency. And we have seen that the formal negotiations sometimes don't really allow for a trust building and understanding that an informal dialogue could sort of deliver.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we started with these dialogue seminars, which is more than about content, and we try to have them as sort of knowledge rich as possible, but with a lot of opportunities for dialogue and trust building. So it's keynote speakers that present subjects, and then we have working groups, and we have field trips and nice cultural events, and so people really start to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the participants, we do this as sort of multi-stakeholder dialogues on specific topics, which is important for sort of advancement in international environmental negotiations. And the participants then has been both from government negotiators and scientists and indigenous groups and local communities and non-governmental organizations. So it's really multi-stakeholder dialogues.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say are the benefits of having these dialogue seminars?
The benefits are that we have seen with these two large dialogue seminars that we have had during the spring, the first one on scaling up financing for biodiversity, to find the instruments and tools and possibilities for financing a biodiversity-rich society.
Mm.
This has been a big topic under the Convention on Biodiversity.
Mm.
It has been a big problem in between in the negotiations, because it has been a sort of a locked situation in between developed, so to speak, and developing countries, and also other stakeholders who participate in the negotiations. And we had then a dialogue in Quito, which 5 governments were behind in there, but we organized it. And it was Sweden, Norway, India, Japan, and Ecuador, and together with the CBD secretariat, they were also one of the conveners. And we did this in Quito earlier this spring. And through that dialogue, we actually could see that an informed, sort of knowledge-rich dialogue on the subject made it then easier for the negotiators to have a better dialogue in the actual negotiations. A few weeks ago I was in Montreal for the working group of review implementation. It's a preparatory meeting for the big conference of the parties under the CBD in the autumn. And we saw there that it had actually influenced the negotiations, that people then understood each other better after this informal dialogue than for the formal discussions. And then we also have had a dialogue in Panama just before the IPBS, the Intergovernmental Platform for Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services. And there we also had a dialogue on the meeting between different knowledge systems, like traditional ecological traditional knowledge systems, indigenous knowledge systems, practitioners' knowledge systems, and science, and how this knowledge system can meet in a sort of respectful way. And that also had a big impact on IPBS. The knowledge indigenous and other knowledge holders has on biodiversity is a very important contribution to society as well, along with science, but it's 2 different kinds of knowledge systems. And then during that dialogue about content and together with scientists, again we found that we came to very interesting results, which also influenced the IPBS negotiations later.
Mm-hmm. So what has been the outcome, would you say, from the
the outcome has been a better informed negotiation later on in the negotiations, that when people have met in a nicer environment and without any kind of negotiation, like for example in Quito, where we said from the beginning that we will not leave this seminar with any negotiated paper or recommendations whatsoever. It was we just wanted to meet for the dialogue. You know, when people have really met and been able to try to listen to each other, they understand each other in a better way. And then it's easier with negotiations, even though negotiations are on a high political level, and you, of course, you have different political situation and different opinions, so to speak. It's easier anyway when we have a more common understanding of the topic. And I think this has been really good results, actually. It's better results than I expected from the beginning. So it has been really successful, I must say, although we are the ones who have organized it. I didn't expect it to be so fruitful as it was, actually. So we will continue with this.